Before we begin, please be advised that this show may contain some adult themes that may not be appropriate for all listeners. Use your discretion. Now, on to our show. So, welcome to the Sippin Saga Society, everyone else who is listening, and the people here with us, where we cover histories, mysteries, and just any story worth telling. Every week, Karina, Randy, say hi, Randy,
Hi.
and occasionally Greg,
Hi, everybody.
cover a year in time while slowly traumatizing each other along the way. And you, also, our listeners. This week is our monthly Little Sips, our video episode for the month where we bring some levity to our show by talking about anything but American history. And sometimes American history. We also have some guests. Our wonderful friend, Britt, who will be staying audio only for this episode. But thank you so much, Britt, for joining us this week.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to hear what y'all have prepared and share a little bit of fun along the way.
My name is Karina, and I am one of your hosts. For the month of May, our theme is sexy history. And I just started calling it Sexy Sips because I thought it was funny. I feel like we'll do this topic again.
It's pretty broad
Yeah.
of a topic, so
Yeah, it could go anywhere, really. We chose this topic to go
pun
along with.
intended.
No, it was not on purpose, but it also is
I'm
who I
just
am, I
imagining
think.
like theme music for that too, like bad like 70s porn, like funk music, and you're like, this is
Excellent.
sexy sips.
Excellent. Karina's gonna get to the warning for the episode soon.
Maybe. Oh, yes. So if you're, maybe I should do it now. If you are under 18, a toddler who got an iPad somehow, um, you know, maybe think twice before listening to this. And if you're a parent and you have tiny ears, maybe this isn't the episode to hear around them. I don't know. I'm not in your house, but this is your warning that this might be not safe for work, not safe for the library on loud without headphones or an airport. But you do you, and you make your choices. We are not giving any medical advice. We are not doctors. We are not telling you what to do with your life or what to not do or what to stop something. There's
I mean,
no,
technically I'm a doctor, but I not that
we're
kind of
not
doctor.
medically prescribing anything to any capacity. Oh, but also, Greg, now when it's convenient, now you're a doctor.
Well, I was like those jokes though, it's like when you're on the, it's like they're on the plane and they're like, "Help, is there a doctor?" And and you're like, "Ah, I'm not going to stand up and say anything." They're like, "We need someone to talk about like Aristotle's theory of whatever." And it's like, "Oh man, let me go."
Can I
Oh,
also just say I'm really pleased with the fact that we just did a warning label for this episode, even though we have one that's basically on cannibalism for the first half hour, and no warning label was given for that episode of Pocket Meat. Excellent.
sometimes you have to talk about pocket meat, Randy. It's just a fact of life. Yeah.
Today's just an episode on a different form of pocket meat.
Britt, thank you. I was like another pun. It's just gonna be boom, boom, dropping everywhere.
Wow. That's wild. Anyway, we chose this fun topic to go along with our book club pick of the month, the book Polysecure, Attachment, Trauma, and Consensual Nonmonogamy by Jessica Fern. I have not read it yet, but I'm very
I've heard good
excited
things
to.
about it.
I've also heard great things about it, Greg. Anywho, yes, we chose this topic to go along with our book club pick of the month, Polysecure, Attachment, Trauma, and Consensual Non-Monogamy by Jessica Fern. And we thought, why not? This is the perfect time. And also it's May, it's spring. This is the time of like rebirth and new things and growth and bunnies and such.
Literally, the chicks at the all the wow, clear words, Randy. All of the geese, like little eggs, have hatched around the lake where I work. They're so cute, the little ducklings just running around. I mean, I don't like what they turn into, but as babies, they're super, super cute.
I really like them.
They
They're
are
so
quite
cute.
cute. I look forward every year to seeing whenever they have like they're really cute and then they're so ugly they're cute where they start molting and shedding all of their fuzz to get the feathers in. And they look disgusting, but it's just like, aw, it's the cycle of life. It's puberty. It gets us all in the
That sounds like a threat, Britt. It'll get you in the end.
end.
If you would like to join our book club, it is available at any membership tier on sipandsaga.online. Randy and Britt and I are all members and are there almost every month. It's great. I try to be there like every month, but you never know. Things happen, Randy.
I'm just saying, it would be kind of strange to have the book club without you
And it would be confused.
there.
I would be like, I probably wouldn't do it. We would just move it, really.
Yeah, honestly.
Anywho, we're all drinking something. And Randy has already given us a little bit of like a show off of what she's drinking. I'm so excited. Randy, what are you sipping?
Okay. So tonight, in my really cute cat glass, you guys can see it. The color's not coming through, but it's this beautiful lilac color, the glass is. Anyway, inside of it is something called a moonshine milkshake, cookies and cream flavored. And it's about half of that. And then I mix it halfway with a vanilla, but really cinnamon flavored um, protein shake. So it's half booze, half protein. And it's delicious. It's giving a little bit of like horchata vibes is kind of what I'm getting, but it's also got like White Russian in there. I'm not mad at it at all.
That sounds beautiful. Thank you.
And then I also have my water and Dr. Pepper just in case I get bored.
Okay, Britt, did you bring anything special to your first episode?
I did. So their slogan is Made in Texas by Texans. And as a Texan, I opted for Best Made Sour Pickle Beer. It is quite yummy. Um, what are you sipping on today?
Ooh, that wait, I want to go back to the pickle beer because how pickly does it actually taste? I love
It
pickles,
Straight
so.
pickle juice. I've had that one
it
before.
it does, and it's very good. It's my favorite one that I've found so far.
Have,
It
have,
does go hard on the
have you,
pickle.
have you had the grape flavored one?
No,
There's a grape, Best Made has a grape pickle beer too.
Is
I've
it actual
heard.
beer though? Like
It
not
is.
cider?
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, am I gonna hurt if I drink it? So the answer is
I think
yes.
they're out of Fort Worth.
Yes, they are. It's 4.7%. But yes, it is like a true beer. Malt beverage with natural flavor is what it says on the side.
Vinegar is that flavor, and I
Yeah.
love it. So good.
It's
I'm
yes,
excited
very.
for you, Britt.
It's one of my favorites. In college, I had a couple friends show me pickleback shots where you do whiskey and then chase it with pickle juice. And I've also had pickle shots, which is usually vodka with pickle juice. And
Yes,
so
I love a pickle shot. I love a pickle shot.
it's a
You're speaking my
fantastic
language.
choice. Oh, I'm glad to find fellow pickle lovers in the area.
I'm glad that Britt brought the pickles because I wanted to bring the pickles and I didn't get to go to the store. And I just felt like that was so needed for this episode specifically. It's the perfect beverage. I don't know. Anyway,
What are you sipping on today,
So
Karina?
I'm drinking a On the Rocks Cosmopolitan because this is what they had at Walgreens.
I like that company though.
I do too. And also, I felt like the Cosmo is the Sex in the City beverage. And it
Clarity
makes
of
sense.
language.
Yeah.
It's
It's hard for some of us, Randy.
Me too. You heard me struggling with it.
Every day is another struggle. And every time I edit these, I'm like, just speak clearly. Just try harder.
Solidarity. Solidarity. There are times where I'll hear something you didn't edit out and I'll be like, oh, I could have sounded smarter there.
It is wild. You really have to come to terms with who you are as a person and how you speak when you have to listen to yourself talk over and over and over and over and over again.
Yes. One of my roommates in college was a speech pathologist, and her favorite thing to say is words are hard. So let that bless you throughout the rest of your life. You're forgiven because words are really freaking hard.
They really are. Um, but Britt, I have a question. How many facts do you have for us today?
Oh, wait.
Um,
Oh wait,
yes, Greg.
Greg, what, Randy?
Huh?
Wait, did
Oh,
Greg
sorry,
say what he was
Greg.
sipping?
What? Oh,
You're right,
I
Greg.
yeah.
I forgot.
I
No,
was
you're
like,
fine. I
Greg
feel
has
it.
the best
Yeah.
cans, and I feel like I
So
haven't seen any artwork yet.
the caked up
Oh,
is
it's the cake
making another
can. It's the
appearance,
cake can.
but it's just water in here. And I did not have a chance. So I think I did I tell y'all I survived a tornado this last weekend.
Oh yes, Greg.
Yeah. So I
My
haven't been to
God.
the store, so all I have is the snake party again. But I mean, it's still a good one. And snakes tend to, whenever they have sex, it's like an orgy. So, you know,
Yes.
like it fits. It works thematically with what we're doing.
There's always a story. We're always learning something here.
The amount of facts that I now know from doing the research. I almost sent some over to you, Britt, because Karina said that you might be doing like facts. Well, she just
Mhm.
introduced that. So there was stuff that I was finding, like, I don't know. Did you find anything about Cleopatra being the first one to use a vibrator?
I did not. I've seen that before, though. It's the bees, right?
Yes, she trapped. Apparently, they say that they trapped bees in a gourd before inserting them into Cleopatra's vagina. So
They put the gourd in there.
they put the gourd in Cleopatra and they put the bees in the gourd.
Is it terrible for me to say she may be the original size queen?
I mean, Cleopatra just had a lot of things happening to her in her lifetime.
Including
Absolutely.
bees in a gourd in her.
hmm hmm
No. Well, people will do what they need to.
Truly.
Truly.
Um,
Well, Greg, we're glad that you're here too after the tornado. My God.
Yeah, I'm very glad I'm here too.
Yeah, you sent us the pictures and I was like, the wind does not play sometimes.
It does not. And it
Mm-mm.
was like like, I don't know, probably like maybe 300 meters or so, like between 300 and like 1200 meters probably from where we were. So it's the
Wait,
closest I've
Wow.
been.
like you literally 300 meters
Yeah,
from
so
you?
a couple properties down from like where my dad and I were parked because we had to park our cars to like try to protect them from the hail. Like
hmm
three properties down. Now, granted, this is in the country, so they're larger. So I'm trying to guesstimate here. It started taking out houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
that's wild. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, it was not fun, and we were like, oh shit, maybe that was a tornado, and then like the next day it's like, oh, like this is gonna be like a months long cleanup, like the Little Rock one.
Oh, yeah, that's
That
true.
was like
Greg,
years.
maybe it's a tornado. It was.
Yeah.
Now that we have all been properly hydrated,
We're settled. We're
we're
settled.
settled down. Britt, how many facts did you bring us?
So I have kind of an array. I have some one-off like short facts. I have a couple of like really, really short story facts. And then I have one as a scientist. I had to go really nerdy. So I have one that's like a couple of facts all stacked together that's very science heavy. So what would you like to start with?
Let's do a cluster of one short facts.
Mhm.
It'll be great. I don't know if I'm ready for all of this though. Good luck,
I'm so
everyone.
excited. Yes.
Okay,
Uh,
go.
Okay, a couple of short facts that I learned in my time doing a little bit of research. This one I thought was very interesting and very pertinent to men's health. Ejaculating more than 21 times per month decreases your risk for prostate cancer.
Gotta
I
clear
learned
those
this
tubes
too.
out.
hmm If they stay in
Truly.
there too
Safe
long, they get
guys.
deformed. Yeah.
So, I also, there was one fact that I saw. I didn't fact check this one, so this one might be a little bit off. It said that the average male in 2 weeks produces enough sperm to impregnate every fertile woman on the planet, every fertile female on the planet. In 2 weeks.
How do you measure that?
I think it's, what is it? I think males produce around 1,500 sperm per second, is what the average is. So, if they are not released for reducing your risk of prostate cancer, they get reabsorbed by the body, actually.
They
A little
get
bit
taken
weird.
back.
We
Mm.
cannibalize
Uh,
them.
Truly. Um, what else did I find? 160 million Americans own a sex toy, with over 56 million owning more than five sex toys.
Brandy, I saw your face when I was thinking how many people are counting how
I
many
was,
sex toys
I
they own
was,
right now. And I looked up
oh
and you were
my
like,
God. I was like, am I average here?
With that knowledge, sex toy materials are not federally regulated, so please make sure you're buying from a reputable seller. So, it's very
smells weird, don't
scary.
put it in your body.
That's
Yes,
quality advice.
yes,
Well, it's wild to
absolutely.
me that you can buy those at like Walmart. So, like, it's not like you have to go far to find them.
Uh,
Or
there's
Walgreens too. You can buy
hmm
your on the rocks and your vibrator.
You
make sure
can
you're
set
having
up
a
a
great
whole night.
time. Yeah. Oh,
Have it all at Walgreens.
they really do.
hmm
What else did I find? This one blew my mind. Approximately 0.3% of females orgasm during vaginal birth.
I've heard that before.
I mean, there's a lot going on down there.
There is a lot going on. I
Mhm.
feel like we always talk about pooping during birth, but this is one that I feel like I never really heard spoken about.
Oh, I've heard
Um,
that. It's like I feel like it's really big in the hippie community. I feel like a lot of the hippie people are like, if you're really in tune with your body, you too can have an orgasmic birth. And you're like,
I've seen
mm-hmm.
that in videos about water births,
Yeah, it's like huge.
like definitely tracks.
Interesting. Y'all are
hmm
informing me now. The
We
last,
know a lot.
y'all do. It's so nice to be here with you guys. The last fun short fact that I found was that when Victor Hugo, the author of Les Mis, died, some Parisian brothels shut down for a day of mourning in his honor.
That's very beautiful.
That is
Nice.
very beautiful. So, but those are a couple of short fun facts. So,
Thank you. I love those. Those are good. Yay. Randy, what do you have
Yes.
for us today? What is your sexy sip contribution?
Okay. So, I love that the way you phrase that. Thank you. It is going to be sexy history, traditions, and culture around the world. So, Karina kind of like put me up front because I'm not talking specifically about one thing. I'm just going to tell you a bunch of things about a bunch of different historical groups of people, okay? So we're gonna start Somebody give me a continent. Greg, where would we like
Uh,
to start
let's
tonight?
do Asia.
Ooh, that's my biggest section, so wonderful.
All right.
Okay, starting in Asia, let's go to India. Okay, a fun one. We're going to start with a fun one. Oh, I'm glad. So we're going to start religious and we're going to talk about the balls. Now, I didn't make
That's
that.
where we're starting, Randy. We're gonna start with the
I
ball.
didn't make that happen. So sorry about that. It's spelled completely differently, but that's what it is. They're a wandering musical community and religious sect that moved through India and Bangladesh. Now, their contribution to tonight's story is around a girl getting her first period and how they celebrated that. So they would mix the girl's menstrual blood with camphor, milk, and sugar. And then the girl's family and friends would drink the mixture. Yeah. You guys need to see Karina's face because she's straight up doing a memeable moment. They drank this mixture, and the Balls believed that spiritual completion involves the four moons. So there are four moons: menstrual blood, seed, urine, and feces. Women are considered to contain all of these, but men are lacking the blood moon, so they must ingest it. That's like the reason why the men specifically are participating in this ritual. Um, or their other option to get their blood moon on is to absorb it through their penis during sex. Now, this is a ritualized sex act then, so the man would not be able to ejaculate, but the women would be encouraged to orgasm in order to energize their partner. Also,
Right on. Right on
yeah,
for that
I
one.
love it. I'm not gonna lie. The lack of taboo around menstrual blood in that community, I really love. Now, am I drinking it? No. But the rest of it, good for them.
A healthy respect is good. I don't know if I want to drink it either, though. I'm not gonna drink it. But also, like, if that is what you want to do,
I just
and I
don't,
like the ritual of it, like, that's beautiful.
yeah, my kink is just not bodily fluids. You know what I mean? Like if
I
it's coming
fully.
out of someone, it's not
That's very
like,
It's
niche.
not going into me. I'm not doing
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
at least not in a way that I can taste it. So So, also in India are the Muriya tribe. So, they celebrate something called Gotul, which is a festival where local teens are taught about art and culture and sex. And then, once the nighttime comes, the girls drink a natural liquor that they believed prevented pregnancy. And then they would head off for the night to mixed gender dormitory style situations. And there they were encouraged to engage in sexual activities with as many partners as they wished. Although, depending on like the group of people that were doing it, because this was very like localized by community. Some would pair the teens up into monogamous relationships, and then some groups were like on the polar opposite side of that. And they would say, you can't form any attachments. So the teens would then get in trouble if they would see each other for more than 3 nights. There was kind of an extreme in terms of how they practiced that. But they were a very sex forward community that really wanted people to have the enjoyment of sexual intercourse as soon as possible, I guess. Okay, that's India. Let's go to
Good for them.
Cambodia. What?
I said good for them. I mean, they're not like freaked out about it.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get a lot of that in these stories. I tried to keep this is because this is a Little Sips episode. I tried to keep it only interesting and only sex positive. So that's what we're getting tonight.
Thank you, Randy. What a
You're,
gift.
you're welcome. Hence my 17% drink here. We're gonna have a good time. So now we're going to Cambodia. So in the northeastern area of Cambodia are the Krueng people. And similar to the group that we're going to talk about later that's in Papua New Guinea, the Krueng build huts for premarital relations. Okay, and premarital is really subjective here. That's a colonial term, but that's how this is described. Um, so the family would build their daughter a hut to experiment with any boy that she fancied. Boys in that community have a very strict upbringing in regards to consent and respect for the women of the community. So rape is pretty much unheard of in that community. However, once the women and the men do settle down, divorce is forbidden. Due to that, the women are encouraged to explore as much as they wish with as many as they wish, even at the same time. They can pretty much do whatever they want leading up to marriage, but public displays of affection are not permitted. So, outside of the hut until they're engaged, they can't really be engaging in anything in the daytime.
So they can do it whatever they want in their in the hut.
Yes.
Do what you want in the hut.
Yes. With who you want, however you want to do it. Just
Don't
don't
let us
bring it
see you
out.
do nothing.
Yes.
We don't want to see anything.
We don't want to know about it until we have to call him brother.
I think that's valid, honestly. I think that's do what you want. How do you know until you try?
Honestly, if divorce is forbidden, you kind of want to know before you're settling down. So I respect that. I
Well,
also really
I
appreciate
go ahead.
they. I was gonna say I really appreciate that like this has helped reduce and almost eradicate rape. That's fantastic.
I really did love that fact about this Also, guys, just so you know, most of what I'm telling you about tonight is actual history. So these are like outside of a couple, they're not practiced anymore in these groups of people. These are pre-colonization times. But yes, I completely agree, Britt. It's great. What a great example.
I would love to
Habitually.
see us return to that mindset.
Staying in Asia, we're going to move on to China. So in China, there were things that were referred to as women villages. They were matriarchal in nature, and those villages would encourage the sexual freedom throughout the culture, okay? So the women of the Mosuo tribe, as an example, they didn't marry and they were able to take as many lovers as they liked. Um, they really were extremely, extremely women-led and not into attachment at all. So much so that the language doesn't even have words for father or husband, because everything can only be traced through the matriarchy, the matrilineal line. This is a community that dates back to 750 BC, and the tribe's homeland was known as Nu Kuo, or the realm of women. So, when a woman comes of age, she is given her own dormitory area where her lovers may come and visit her in an arrangement known as a walking marriage. And this could last from one night to something more long term. And these women villages are still here in some way, shape, or form, which I think is really cool.
Oh, I was
Okay.
gonna say, Randy, I appreciate that your stuff seems to be lining up a lot with the book of the month about Polysecure, especially this last one about the women having dormitories and their lovers coming in and out instead. So,
Well, I found it really interesting when I was doing this research that so many indigenous communities had that. You know what I mean? Like that was a lot of what communities around the world were doing.
And then the colonizers saw it and they were like,
Yeah.
Literally, all of
happy
them said
women?
Christianity came in and then brought shame, and it was really hard for the people to reconcile that. Like over and over again, that's what I was reading.
well,
Surprise, surprise.
not even just shame, but like ownership of women.
Yes. Yep.
But I
Uh,
digress.
Okay, I said I was going to stay positive, so that's what's happening. We're going we're going to
I
the
said
Himalayas.
we're staying positive.
We're going to Nepal. So this little factoid has more to do with Himalayan terrain dictating cultural practices than really anything else. But as a part of their traditions, when a son gets married, the Himalayan family gifts him a portion of the land. So they chop off a segment of their land to give to the son. This is a mountain range that we're talking about, right? The Himalayas. So there's not a lot of space to jostle about. It's not like you can climb up into the mountain. It doesn't get better for you. So poor families weren't always able to divide their land. And so they would encourage something called fraternal polyandry. Basically, the family would go out and find one wife for all of the sons that they had. However many they had, they would find one wife. And then all of the sons and the wife would continue to live together in the home, and they would keep the estate intact that way.
I'm
It's
trying to
the
find
OG
a
reverse
flaw.
harem.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a flaw in the plan, and I.
It honestly, it didn't sound awful. It didn't, like, depending on what group of brothers you got, it could be kind of fun.
You're not wrong, Randy.
I'm just it apparently this one is it's mostly died out, but in some rural agriculture communities it is still happening. So,
I feel like it makes the most sense. Like, you already have the house, you just need another girl.
Karina, I also love though that it wasn't like let's stop doing the tradition. It was how do we keep the tradition
Alive.
in a way that
Hmm.
allows us all to be happy?
Hmm. I mean, how many women are there really? In Nepal? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I have
I
no idea.
That's so bad. It's so
Hmm.
bad. I love them on the Asia 100. Okay.
Oh,
Watch
yeah,
that.
true.
Okay, so that was my Asia. Britt, I'll let you pick the next continent.
Let's go to Africa.
Ooh, okay. I only have one for Africa. This was mostly because I got way too much information for some of the other continents, and I was like, we're gonna go too long. So my apologies to the people of Africa who were, or the people who were really hoping to hear about African sex practices. We are going to talk about, though, the Wadabi tribe of Niger. So every year they hold a festival known as Garawal. And the tribe's three most beautiful women. So this is really a subjective situation, but most often they end up being the daughters of the men who won in previous years. So they're won the competition that the women are now judging. And the women judge the tribe's men as they perform a dance known as the yake. This is a high stakes contest, okay? So this contest determines the men's status as sex gods within the community. So if they don't do a good enough dance, they're prowess and their
It's like a
sexual
low tier
currency.
god.
Yeah, their
Yeah.
sexual currency is nothing in the community, okay?
Randy, not your status as the sex god. I
It
mean,
I just imagine how much pressure it is that you, if you're like not feeling well on one day and you're like, I can't dance like this, but literally your whole year of relationships and dating prospects and everything is dictated by how well you do in this competition. Tough. That is tough. Anyway, so if a man does win the yake, he gets to pick whatever woman he wants out of the tribe to marry. And I do mean whatever woman, because during this time, women can be stolen. And I'm air quoting here, people, because stolen is basically her leaving her husband because she thinks another man danced really well in the yake, and she would rather be with him than with her current husband. And so she is stolen by the sexual prowess of the man's dance.
so the men go where the women want them to.
Basically, yes.
Because it's like when she's done with you and your dance is not danced well enough, you gotta go.
Yeah,
The best dancer is in my bed.
my literal next yes, exactly the best answer. My literal next line is women tend to have high amounts of sexual freedom and power in the tribe as they are allowed to do this and they're also allowed to have multiple husbands. So if they don't want to leave their husband, they can just go and take another husband. I love it. This tribe's really doing a lot.
You can just go get a new one, Randy. If this one doesn't work for you,
Hmm.
The
get a
original
fresh
why
one.
choose.
Maybe you only want him one day of the week. You could go find someone else for the other six.
That sounds like so much work.
That does sound like a lot of work.
How many? I'm thinking back to that brother story. How many brothers are there, really? Because, like, how many can you
Well, okay.
handle?
You know what is so funny is when we were talking about that, my mind immediately went to, well, I guess when I was doing the research, this is when I was thinking about it, but have you ever seen that old school movie Seven Brides for Seven Brothers?
No.
I love that movie. It's absolutely amazing. But that was what I was picturing, this one tiny woman on the frontier being hauled away by these seven brothers, and I was like, if it were those seven brothers, mm-hmm.
Okay, but why do I want to find the movie now? I'm curious. What does
They're
this mean?
wonderful. They're wonderful. Okay, Karina, it's your turn. What's the next continent?
Australia.
Australia. Okay. So in Australia, we're going to talk first about the Cook Islands, right outside of New Zealand. So oh, I'm going to butcher this. The Mangaya people of the Cook Islands, um, and the indigenous people in general in on the Cook Islands are known to anthropologists as having a very sex positive culture. This culture extended into the preparation of adulthood for kids, and it took the form of sex mentors specifically for the boys. So when the boys reached 13, they would be taken out of the village by an older adult male where they would teach them for a few weeks about sexual relationships and pleasing their partner. So this tribe was really, really focused on the women's pleasure. So that is predominantly what these older men were teaching the younger boys. So they were out there teaching them specific positions. They were teaching them like tantric sex practices, like how to achieve multiple orgasms through positioning and foreplay. That is predominantly what they were focused on in that time. Um, the research suggests that the women did not perform any of those same rituals, so they weren't like learning back home how to give a great BJ. Um, but they were encouraged to explore the sexuality through multiple partners prior to marriage. So this group was just really focused on multiple orgasms for their women, basically.
I love that.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them. Okay, so this one that I'm
Wait, I
doing,
have a comment on this one. Sorry, I was chewing a cookie. Um, and you know what I'm very curious about as a person who's done a lot of research on like different beliefs. I think I'm curious to know what they thought about when it came to orgasm and creating children and like making like why? I'm not saying like I think that women shouldn't, but like what beliefs did they have that gave them a different attitude towards the pleasure of women compared to the modern day like man? You know
yeah.
what I mean?
And
Uh,
I think so. I obviously that wasn't the angle that I was doing this from,
Right.
but a lot of the stuff that I was reading about had to do with two different things. So it was a lot about spiritual power that was held. So like because sexual organs had the power of creation, they were like highly regarded as important aspects of some of these people's groups. But also a lot of the groups tie um did not tie sex in with having children. Like a lot of the groups that I was reading about, it was like sex was for pleasure in and of itself, and it didn't necessarily have to be for procreation at all. I mean, you had the one Papua New Guinea, which is the one that I'm about to do, they were having like young kids before puberty explore their sexuality as a part of their growth. And that's like prior to even being able to have children. So,
Right, but a lot of people or a lot of different communities didn't realize how like it makes sense because a lot of people didn't realize that you needed the sperm to make a baby. Like it took a long time for people to connect those pieces together.
yeah, I think
But
what is it like medieval times? I don't know exactly the age range. It was believed that you needed both the men and women's orgasm to achieve conception. Um, I don't think it's until we learned a lot more about fertility that association went away, but it used to be a much higher focus, um, even just a couple hundred years ago, like more widespread.
the Victorians, Karina's going to talk about them, but they did a lot. They were freaky, but they did a lot to repress that. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to Papua New Guinea. Is it Papua? Papua? I've always said it Papua New Guinea.
That's what I've always said.
Okay, is it just because we're from the South and we're saying it wrong though? I don't want to be
there's like
culturally
seven different
insensitive.
ways to pronouncing anything, Randy. But I've only ever heard it pronounced Papua New Guinea.
Okay, me too. Okay, so this one I will say really challenged me. Out of everything that I did research on, this is the one that I was like, I'm not quite sure. Am I actually still repressed? Like, that's the thoughts that I was having while I was reading through this one. Like, I double fact checked this one, and Lord knows what the government thinks of my search history right now. I'm sure I got put on some sort of list for the research that I was doing for this. And you're going to understand why. So, there's a tribe in Papua New Guinea known as the Trobrianders. Trobriand Trobrianders. Trobrianders. Okay. Amongst the islands of love, okay? And there's a lot of work that covered the cultural practices of this group. I'm saying this so that if you guys want to go and do your own research, it is by Bronislaw Malinowski. But the big takeaway surrounds the early exploration and sexual freedom within this group of people. So, this is where the children are being allowed to begin erotic activities. For this group, it was as early as 6 years old. So, girls were encouraged to begin engaging in sexual activities between 6 and 8, while boys would wait sometimes until more like 10 to 12. And it was not considered taboo in the culture at all. Um, and in fact, when they're older, and I don't mean old like older like 18, I mean older like adolescent 14-year-olds, uh, the family would then build their homes called bukumatulas, which are like basically bachelor pads that would house their unmarried child of age. So, boy or girl, they would get the house and they could continue their sexual exploration in their own space. Yeah, somebody else talk because I really don't know what else to say other than I did not care for that particular story.
I just finished reading, or I've been reading the book DIY by Dr. Eric Sprankle. It's about masturbation, and it does talk about um, like kids masturbating and children's exploring their own sexuality. And as people who are like, let's be pretty frank here. This is a safe space. As people who are not pedophiles, it's hard to think about that. Like, I think a lot of us are like kid sex, blah, like, let's not think about it. We're not talking about it.
Thank you. Yes,
Throw
as
it away.
non-pedophiles here,
As
we did not
non-pedophiles,
create
Like,
a
what's
safe
the
I
space
appropriate
for
amount to
pedophiles.
think about before you cross that barrier?
but he says in this book, and I found this to be really insightful, is that when it is for the child's own like exploration of self, for own understanding of self, that is one thing. But when you are encouraging a child to do things for somebody else's benefit in any capacity, that's not okay. And
It
I
Yeah.
think
is.
that's a way of looking at it. Like, but I do think that kids that are that young, personally for me, I don't think a 14-year-old should be like, I'm not gonna let my 14-year-old do that, like have their own home to go sleep around in, but like I don't have a
I
14-year-old, so
I don't. I
save that
just.
problem.
I did struggle.
It's
I
hard.
get what you're
It's
saying.
it's weird.
I don't
Yeah.
believe in shaming a child. Like
Exactly.
that's not what I'm talking about. But like active encouragement of a 6-year-old.
See, I think
I
it's the
understood.
encouragement that's the weird part. Like, why
I
are you
understood
encouraging?
like the 12-year-old more. 12, like almost 12 I could see because in a lot of cultures that's like an adolescent turning point. Like there are rituals that go with that. Do I think scientifically that's what we should be doing? I mean, no, if the frontal lobe's not even developed until 25, our bodies are maturing much faster than our brains. Like there's a whole lot of research that still needs to like I'm sure that they can figure out safer zones, right? But I, children, you're right.
Well,
I
the other
can't. I
thing too
struggle.
is thinking, what is encouragement in this? Like you're just saying encouragement. What does that mean? What does that look like? Does it mean giving a kid a space to be like, hey, it's okay if you do it in your room. Don't do it in the living room. Don't let other people see it. Like,
No,
don't be
it's
weird
with
about it.
each
Like,
other.
I feel
It
like
was
that's a
like,
normal
see, I
encouragement.
level
think
of
it's,
like
see, that's
encouragement,
one thing. Yeah, I think being with each other is weird to me. I think, like, I feel like that kind of encouragement is a different thing that I don't want to think about. Like that, I can see why it's a very gray area.
What concerns me is the large age gap in which it's encouraged. Like you said, it was 6 to 8 for girls, like 10 to 12 for boys.
Yes.
So
yeah.
if
It
it's
feels
encouraged to happen
predatory.
together, yeah,
Yeah, it's
like
weird.
that's a significant difference.
Yeah, and it's very hard because it's also like that's a cultural difference between people, but also like I think children are children across cultures, and it's kind of a different.
Well, I mean, I watch FLDS documentaries and I don't think that that's appropriate either.
Exactly,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Well, now you guys see why I'm pretty sure I'm on some list now after doing that.
Oh, I just assume we live on a list now, Randy.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure I do.
In this
I'm sure I
America?
do.
Yeah, Palantir
Okay,
has clocked you already.
Oh yeah, 100%.
we have three continents left. Greg, you're up again.
Antarctica.
Okay, don't be
All
funny.
right. I was hoping you had something for that, like about scientist fucking or something.
I'm sure it was
Oh,
there. I did not find it. That's not historical. We
Yeah,
could
that's
talk
fair.
about.
I don't have
Uh,
a I don't have a sex fact, but in Antarctica, the scientists develop like their own accent.
oh, that's cool.
It is kind of cool, isn't it? It's weird. And penguins mate for life. Woo, their sex.
There
That's
you
good.
go. Antarctica. How about South America?
Excellent. Let's go
Perfect.
to Brazil. Okay. I've got two for Brazil, obviously, big country. So this first one, I'm going to caveat by saying this is a colonial account. So just know that this was through the lens of someone who did not understand outside of Christianity or did not have a fair perspective outside of Christianity. But this goes to the Tupari natives in Western Brazil, and they engage in a behavior known as penis tucking. I bet you guys didn't see that one coming. Penis tucking. Yeah, got everything in here. So, when a boy was about 12, the tribe would prepare a feast that would take several days to celebrate the first official hiding of his penis and the fixing of the tamaram, which was a folded palm leaf that would cover his hidden penis. So basically, what would happen when the kid reaches 12 is that the the whole community would perform this ritual, and then the master of ceremonies would push the boy's penis towards his scrotum into his subcutaneous fat. So the I'm sorry, this should not be funny. The actual I'm sorry, I'm seeing Karina laugh and it's setting me off. Okay. The actual account of this is that when they would push the penis in, it would make it look like there were testicles above, like in the pubic area. It would give the man a fupa, basically, because that's where the penis is hiding. Okay? And then once the
Because
penis
that's where the penis is hiding, Randy.
apparently, once they had been tucking their penis for long enough, it stayed like the skin had and everything had like basically molded around it. So they could like dance and jump around. Not that that happened often, but they could, and the little palm leaf wouldn't even fly out because that's the other thing I didn't even tell you. The palm leaf isn't tied to anything. It is tucked into the folds of the skin and it's like kind of sharp on the edges and it
Oh,
catches and it holds a covering over the tucked penis.
Randy, I thought you just meant that they were just touching it there for a second. No, it lives there?
It lives there. It lives there for the rest of time. Because that is, that's their holy part and they don't need you to be looking at it, Karina. They only
I
take it,
wasn't.
they only push their penises out for urination and for intercourse. And they're not the only ones that did this. At least five other tribes in the area also practiced this penis tucking behavior. Now, for the women's part, they they also had their own private areas, but it did not involve like the labia vulva area. It was only the internal part, so they could not open their legs to sit or stand or lie down in the presence of men because it would expose the inside of their lady bits. And that was their part that they had to keep sacred and separate from the men.
They had a built-in protection. You just close your legs. The men were exposed. They were
I
they
mean, the
had to
women
be
were
protected.
naked outside of that. The women were naked. They didn't have even the palm leaf to cover them. They just had to
Nothing.
keep their legs closed.
Mm-hmm. I just can't.
Did you like that
So,
one?
Mm. I hated that story. This is one of those.
Britt,
I wish I could unlearn this.
Britt, what did
so
you say?
I'm gonna contest Karina's assertion that there's like a natural covering. Fun fact, there's about 9 different general labia shapes for females. And so some of them do include having like a longer labia minora that you can see, even just like standing. And so I wonder how that was worked out, like what all they had to do, and how unfortunate it might be to have to deal with that if that was the natural shape of your labia while trying to
Well,
practice
right, but
this.
I'm wondering if they think that the most important part is like the hole, like
Yeah, the
just
in
Like
the
the actual
actual
no,
canal.
yeah.
outside.
Basically, as
Yeah,
long any part that was outside was
is
fine.
like outside.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
different than like the part that gives life, I guess, is what I'm
Interesting.
assuming.
The literal canal
The
is
whole, yeah,
basically what I was getting from the writing.
that's what
Again,
Okay.
I
though,
was under the
It's
impression. Yeah,
colonial. So
this is their
Interesting.
interpretations.
Yes, I was also gonna say with that, I am finishing up my Bio 1 class right now because somehow I took biochemistry, got a full degree, and never took Bio 1 and 2. Um, Weird, right? But with that, one of the things I've been reviewing is evolution and different evolutionary practices, like bottleneck effect, where like a bunch of people die off, and so you lose a bunch of different alleles. And so I was gonna say, with this being like tribal practices, I would wonder if it was to include the labia minora, if that would be like they eschew those people, and you end up essentially accidentally like breeding in a specific general structure, like fits the holy
oh,
assertion. But
that is a really yeah, that's a really great thought. I have no idea. He did
yeah,
not delve that far.
no, that's just
The
like
man,
science brain in the background.
Francis, who wrote this.
Interesting. I a bunch of the stories you shared, Randy. I want to go and like see if there's a book or different books that like embellish upon them just to learn more. Some of these are very interesting.
They really are, Britt. I'll tell you, I have a whole little, when we are in book club tomorrow, I'll send them over because I have like three that I think might have some. I did have to do my own digging on some of these. Like I found them and then I had to go find actual sources for them.
Thank you for doing that. It's so cool.
I like fact checking. It's part of my nature.
Well, especially
Okay.
with some of these stories, Randy, you're like, I don't know
No,
about
I am like,
this.
is that actually true? I
Like
tried
more
to
people
for
need to ask that question just in general,
Yes.
you know?
It's media literacy at its finest.
Yeah.
I was taught that by a librarian. Shout out. I had a badass librarian and she was always like, check your sources. And she was a stickler for stuff like that. Taught me really great habits, truthfully. Okay. Also in Brazil, there is a group known as the Kayapo, and they have a very interesting take on reproduction. So they believe that conception and gestation are impacted by the mixture of semen from the father and milk from the mother. So throughout pregnancy, the man continues to contribute to the growth of his child through sexual relations with the mother. So maintaining that bodily connection throughout pregnancy is considered paramount to the father's nurture, which is great for the mom. They say they believe that their bodies stay connected throughout their lives. Like one of the interesting like things that they noted was that the parents, if the child was sick, the parents would eat meat because it was considered like too hard for the sick person's body to eat meat, like that it would cause them to be more ill. So the parents would eat meat in an effort to help their child because their bodies were and energies were still connected. They believed that their bodies wouldn't be severed until death. So that connection continued with their partner and with their children until the time of their death. In many other ways in this group, the equality of the sexes is apparent in the tribe's practices, where both men and women are free to take on lovers. They're free to enter into marriage with whoever they like, and they are also free to divorce each other, but only on the consent of their partner. So they had consent laws, but also the freedom to make your own choices, which is great. Love to hear it. We love to hear it. Okay, Britt, we've got two left. Who's up?
Is it North America? That's a continent.
Mhm.
I
I
mean,
was
Mhm.
how
gonna
many,
say
which ones
It's
are
North
left?
America and
in
Europe.
Europe. I was gonna say Europe because I know they were wild, and so let's hear it.
Actually didn't do many in Europe because I wasn't sure what Karina was going to be doing with the Victorian era. But I did one from Iran. So, an interesting sexual situation was considered normal in Iran was a traditional Islamic practice known as nikah mutah, which allows for something called a temporary marriage. And it's exactly what it sounds like. This basic Sharia law loophole was used primarily so that men could take a wife while traveling through long distances, like over harsh terrain. But more modern interpretations got away with a lot more. They used this loophole um, to act as a trial marriage for a couple, and with everything that goes with it, as the trial marriage can last anywhere from 3 days to a full year. So they can have that time to figure out how they work as a couple and do everything basically in a way that allows them to reevaluate a probationary period, if you will, of marriage.
I don't
That's
feel like that's a
smart.
bad idea. Yeah. Figure out if you like each other. Will this work? Because sometimes you don't know things until you're like in it and then you learn
You
things.
you know the saddest part is what I love about this is the time limit. Because after a year, you either know or you don't. Like, your time's up.
Exactly. And if within a year you're like, I could be without this, then you know. Hmm.
Okay. The other one that happened in Europe happened in Austria. So, in rural areas of Austria, young women would perform a traditional dance after placing sliced apples into their armpits. So they would dance and sweat. Like, we would be talking dancing for at least 30, 40 minutes, getting those apples good and sweaty. And then the
Brandy,
woman would
stop describing the apples. They were moist. Ooh.
and then the women would go out to the men that they fancy and they would offer him the apple out of her armpit. And if he took the apple and consumed it, it meant both that he liked her and that he was open to sexual exploration with her. Go Austria, I guess. I would not eat it. Again, bodily fluids, not for me. Mm-mm.
That's a choice.
Food play for foreplay.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Austria must have some really good apples too, to like offset that.
I hope so. I hope they're not bland apples, Randy. Oh. All right,
Okay,
North America.
Karina. Yeah, I was like, we're gonna end things
It's
in
time.
Hawaii.
Oh,
So,
Hawaii.
in Hawaiian culture, The genitals were considered holy and were treated with respect and worship. It was believed that the genitals possessed mana or spiritual power, so much so that on the big island of Hawaii, I'm not sure which one that is, but it's just the biggest island, there is a cave with a rock vagina that is 20 feet in length that like Hawaiians who still practice their traditional beliefs will go and leave offerings at. I just thought that was really nice. Um, so traditionally, Hawaiians had public names for their genitalia, and royalty and commoners alike had their own mele mal, which were genital chants or songs that would describe figuratively or literally the individual's sex organs. So, one example, I did pull an example for you guys. So, one of the queen, and I'm going to try my best to get this right, Lili Uoka Lani en Hawaiiano Mele Mai told of Anapue. So her genitals were known as frisky. Anapua, Anapau is how you say that. So they're frolicking genitals that went up and down. That was her chant. So it was Anapaue, frolicking genitals that went up and down all together. That's how you would say it. Um, So that was her chant. So typically the genitals were named in infancy and songs were written when they were young. So it was often thought that the songs were like predictive or tried to set like expectations for the child. The children of the culture were taught to look forward to sex and to appreciate the pleasure that it brought. And by the age of puberty, sexual relationships were encouraged and allowed to begin, with sex training happening through instruction, observation, direct observation, and practice. So, one thing I did find really interesting, you remember, Karina, when we were talking about how that poor girl would have learned how to have sex with her ghost husband? And I was like, direct observation, because it was a tiny house. Well, the same thing here, except they called it something called public privacy, meaning one hut for everything. So the way that this is described is that one hut would house somewhere between 5 and 15 members of the family of all ages. And anyone of sexual mature age was allowed to have sex in the hut at night. So if the oldest daughter was wanting to have a partner, she would have sex in the hut with her parents there, and they would just basically act like they couldn't see it. The children would learn about sex by watching their parents and their siblings and their aunts and uncles having sex in the hut. So, again, guys, think about, the world that we're living in now comparatively. It's a lot different, uh, culturally, structurally, for the way that we're being brought up. But that's basically it. So that's Hawaiian culture. So we have covered a little bit of all of the habitable, or at least habit. Wow. Nope. This is kicking in. So I'm done with the words. Words are hard. This is
Words
the
are
end.
hard.
We're done, bitches. Go.
Very nice.
All right, Randy. I learned
Hoorah.
so much. So much.
Oh.
Okay, Britt.
All
Give
right.
us a story. More
Okay.
facts.
Yes, I think we're gonna go with a little bit of science. Is that all right with everybody?
We don't do enough science here. So, yes,
Okay.
we're all
Definitely.
very excited. We
We
do.
got
Okay, we have been doing more science. We have been
Ooh.
doing more science, but we don't do enough, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, we should do
I
more
do wish
science.
we would do more. I love science.
We will.
Again,
We are doing science experiments in the summer. So,
yes. Yes, I do. My deep dive, I am considering doing a public health perspective on it because we don't talk about science enough. You're right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Give us
Okay,
more
Britt,
science.
hit it.
Yes, so today, now I'm going to talk about the clitoris. So let's get some of the science of the clitoris. And so, first off, this is wild to me. Anatomically, the clitoris is homologous with the penis. So
Mm-hmm.
we can pull up a photo, but if you actually look at the structure of the clitoris, the external portion that is usually referred to as the clit is the glans, is akin to the head of the penis, which is the glans penis. You have the bulb of vestibules that come down the sides internally and surround the vaginal canal and the urethral opening. And then on top of that, kind of like cloaking, you have the legs of the clitoris, which are made of corpus spongiosum, which is one of the two types that you see of tissue inside the penis as well. You have the corpus spongiosum and the corpus cavernosum inside the penis. Because of this, the clitoris, what is it? It is originally springs from the genital tubercle, which forms whenever you're around 4 weeks of gestation. By the time you hit like 8 to 9 weeks, you start to see sex differentiation based off of hormone presence. If you have a Y chromosome, you start expressing certain androgens that push you into forming the penis. If you have an X chromosome, you continue on like the main straight and it forms into the clitoris. Because of these similarities, you also see that the clitoris can experience erections, which I think a lot of people don't realize. And so it becomes engorged with blood as you get aroused. It can grow anywhere from 50 to 300% in size, which is amazing. But I just thought all of that was really, really cool. And then what is it? Another fun fact about the clitoris: your clitoris, much like your nose, continues to grow for the rest of your life. Yeah, yeah, that one got to me.
Randy
I
and I
love
both, for people that are not
that.
audio or who are not video watching, Randy and I just both did the like gasp,
I
literal
am
like
I
shock,
am in full-blown
shook
shock, right?
face,
It grows.
shook it.
It
Yes,
grows.
and what was even
How
wilder,
fast? How much is it growing?
so it's like continually growing. You see the largest spike in growth after menopause. I know.
Okay, actually, that does line up with what they say about your sex life getting better after you have menopause. So, because that happens all the time. Like outside of being a bit drier, I'm pretty sure it just gets better.
Well,
Yes.
like the transition seems rough, but like the other side of it.
Yes, I will say I haven't finished listening to it. The NPR, I can't remember who it is specifically, put on a Sex Week series around Valentine's Day this year. They have so many good episodes. One of them's like teens and sex. One of them was about postmenopause. One of them's about geriatrics, like after you lose a loved one, getting back into the saddle,
Hmm.
metaphorically speaking. But they talk a lot about all of this. And one of the big things they focused on with the menopause episode is that a lot of women can see a reduction with the clit, and so they actually recommend that you talk to your doctor about potentially using like a topical estrogen to help with that. So, anyone interested or coming up to menopause, or who knows or cares about anyone coming up to menopause, learn about it. It's really a beautiful thing. It's a big transition in life. The last clitoral fact that I wanted to spout off because it's just so interesting: it is a myth that the clitoris has 8,000 nerve endings and twice as many nerve endings as the penis. I think we've all heard this at some point in our life. They haven't actually done a research study on it in humans. Those numbers specifically come from bovine species. I couldn't find if that was like buffalo, if that was cows. However, it's not humans, which I just thought that was really interesting because I've heard that a million times in my life. So, but we
I
can only
have
dream.
so many thoughts on that.
It is still quite sensitive, but no one knows exactly how many nerves just yet.
Well, we keep cutting the funding, so it's gonna be even longer before we find out.
Oh,
I will
I
call these
know
people
because
out.
you
They're
did you
terrible people.
see they he fired everybody on the science board.
I saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah. We're like a step away from the clit just being a liberal myth.
Truly.
Greg! The clit is a liberal myth. Britt,
Yes.
thank you for your facts.
Brit.
Greg told us,
Excellent.
we know.
Excellent. I'm trying to stay positive, guys. I'm trying so hard.
Okay, but real talk, these are the only people I can talk about this with, really. So
Yeah, yeah.
we only talk about it here. Oh gosh, it's my turn. I'm gonna talk about Victorian birth control. It took me a really long time to figure out what I was gonna talk about. I read two different books just to be like, none of these are the story that I want to talk about today. But they were really good books, and I will post them later. But what even is a Victorian? Who are they? What time is this? Yeah, like, okay, I know the name, but that doesn't mean I know when it was, Randy.
I
According
just
to
love that you said it like, what even is a Victorian? Like, it made them sound like some sort of mythical creature. Like, we're going into the jungle. But first, you need to know, what even is this?
That's
That's
true.
fair.
Let us talk about them how they've talked about us. And apparently, Encyclopedia Britannica is the place to find the information about it. I mean, it's all right there. That's what the internet is for. The
Until they take it away.
Anywho, the Victorian era is the period between 1820 and 1914. It corresponds to the time of Queen Victoria's reign. It is described as a time with a class-based society and more people getting the right to vote. Britain during this time had a stable government, a growing state, and as we have heard countless times, an expanding empire. They were colonizing everywhere, colonizing, taking over, abusing, doing whatever the hell they want. Also, the fact that freaking the king of England had to come over here and be like, "I'm a piece of shit, and even I know this is not good. This place is not good here."
You mean recently?
Like, yes, like 20 minutes
I
ago?
was
Yeah.
like, yeah, the king didn't like it.
The king doesn't like, I don't care for this.
I don't care for the king.
That's what I said. I'm like, if this man, look at him. He's with Camilla. If he thinks this is bad, we're fucked. Anyway, today there exists this belief that the Victorians were prudes and they were like fucking in the shadows and just, you know, judging everyone outwardly. And this belief is based in some truth. But they did write a lot about sex for some of people because some of them weren't prudes. But, there's the right ways to have sex, guys. There are rules to these things. Most people, however, were not that open. Middle class women were particularly proud of not knowing anything about their bodies or sex or childbirth. They were just real happy to be like, I know nothing about that. I don't know how these boobs work, which is concerning because it is part of yourself. There was a sexual double standard, different yet similar to the one we have today. Men wanted and needed sex. They need it. They need it biologically. They're just wired this way. And women didn't have that sexual desire. This is just the belief of the time. Like women just don't want to have sex. And they really only want to have sex to please their husband.
I love listening to this and knowing they so obviously talked to a woman. Like, that's
She doesn't want
like,
it.
who are they even talking? They had a conversation with a woman? I'm just wondering.
Ever? No.
Ever,
No.
ever.
Mm-mm. But the men need it, Randy. They need it. It's just they're gonna fall apart without it. Anywho, yeah, we know that that's not necessarily the truth. Everybody's a case by case basis, but I'm just trying to paint a picture for the time. It is a very like it's a time of science growing, but it's also the time of like just letting anyone tell you what to do, and this is like the science that we're coming up with at the time, and it's kind of wild. But what did they use for birth control? But before we get to that, what did I use as a book? The book Unmentionable. It's really cute. Look at it.
I
By
like that.
Therese O'Neill. Yeah, I found it in a museum once and I didn't want to buy it from the museum because I'm a bad person and I bought it on Kindle. It's like, I'm a bad person. It was for $2. Anywho, this book is hilarious. If you get a chance to read it, you really should. It it really puts history in a really like sassy tone, which I appreciate. Like it's fun. It's just a
Yeah.
fun read.
Yeah.
She
Make
also
your
has one.
history tea.
Yeah,
Make
make it
your
fun.
history tea.
Make it a good time. She also has one about rearing children, like with how the Victorians raised their kids, like what beliefs they had about children. I've read some of it. It's very curious. It's an interesting book. But anywho, about birth control. So what are you doing? You're Victorian. You're not trying to get pregnant. You already have 17 children. What do you do? Number one, you could not have sex, Victorian people, because that's the
100%
best
effective.
way to not get pregnant is to, like, if, you know, don't make that choice. Just don't do it. Reverse Nike. But also, if you're married, it is your godly duty to give your husband the sex that he wants. And also, you're supposed to, at this time, the church tells you you're supposed to have sex and allow God to just give you the children that you're supposed to have. So, what do you do if you want to have sex but you don't want to get pregnant?
Should we
What's
play
the
that
try?
clip
Yeah.
from
What's the
Garfunkel and
time and trude?
Oates?
What's the time and trude? Tried and true method, the number one method.
I
Pull
was
out.
trying so hard to figure out what you were saying. Tried and true. Okay. What's the
Yes.
tried
You
and
pull
true
out.
method?
I
Pull
too
out.
was trying to
Pull
figure it
out.
out.
Yeah. I'm
Pull
with
Yes.
out.
Greg. Pull
Okay, so
out.
you pull out. Okay, Britt, what did you say?
I was gonna say, are we going like Garfunkel and Oates, fuck me in the ass because I love Jesus?
Oh, that would no, no, no. So, like, I can tell you that that would be sodomy, which is considered a sin.
They're all
Just
sins,
any
Greg.
and no, no, no. But anything involving the butt is a sin, just straight up
Not the
at
It's
that
all
butt.
time.
bad.
Yeah,
If you're near the back door, you've gone way
yeah.
too far. You've made a choice. hmm So the
It should
pull-out
be a
method.
mutual choice.
It
Mutual
should be.
choice.
That's a gift. Yeah. So the pull-out method, existing since people figured out that sperm exists and make people pregnant, and they're like, not today, maybe. So what was the top literature saying about it? So this book called Searchlights on Health, Light on Dark Corners by B.G. Jeffers and J.L. Nichols writes that it is an incomplete and unnatural act and is followed by results similar to and as disastrous as those consequent upon masturbation. Imagine being a masturbator? Sick. In the male, it may result in impotence, and in the female, sterility. That's the risk you're taking in the Victorian era and using the pull-out method. But some medical professionals felt that women could not orgasm without the pull-out method because it would cause health issues. Orson Squire Fowler, a phrenologist. Do you guys know what phrenology is?
I do.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Greg, what is it?
It's like the people that studied the skulls and saw like different sort of attributes of the skull, told you things about races and shit. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained.
I've never watched that movie, and now with even more reason, I don't want to watch that movie because every day Leonardo DiCaprio disappoints me
I love
further
that
and
movie.
further.
I did not like that movie
That's what they
until he
do.
got to the part where he was killing everybody, and then I was like, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. No, no, no. As someone who studies like that time in history, I love it because we don't get those kinds of revenge stories often.
Hmm. Now I'm gonna watch it, I think.
It's
I'm
worthwhile.
very
I think it's
conflicted.
worthwhile.
Just
I'm
so
very
you know,
conflicted.
my main reason, a lot of the N-word.
It
Yeah.
is hard, yeah.
I can't do that's where I struggle. I know they used it in that time period. I can't do it.
No, I mean it's understandably very difficult, yeah.
Yeah.
I have never seen a Tarantino.
I don't think I have either. Maybe. I think I've seen one.
I've seen a few Tarantinos to
I've
be
seen a
fair.
lot, but I feel like that tends to be more like guys are very into
Oh
Tarantino
yeah. I have
often.
met at least two guys that I've
I
dated that are
liked
like
Tank Girl.
into. into
I mean, like,
Tarantino.
I like some Tarantino movies, but I'm also like, I'm not obsessed with him. I feel like
Oh
that's
no, there
where you
I
draw
feel
the
like
line.
that's a type, like
There is a
obsessed.
type, yeah, who are like Reservoir Dogs is the best fucking movie ever made, you know? But
Red Flag, Christopher Nolan fans.
Yeah.
Okay, so phrenologist is a fake doctor. They're not real. They're not real. They were like discredited. They were like head bump doctors, not real. That's just a bump you have. Anywho, so Orson Squire Fowler said that women suffer the most from this vice of pull-out method because her organs are adapted to act for a longer period. It provokes in her all diseases of her genital organs, from simple inflammation to the most serious derangements. When I review all the diseases of the women I have attended, I believe three-fourths of them were caused by the practice of frauds in sexual intercourse. And you're a fraud if you're doing the pull-out method, so think about that. Make your choices. Anywho, John Kellogg, the man who said eat cornflakes to fight masturbation. And I will come back to him. I That's going to be my next deep dive because the more I research I've done, the more I found out about John Kellogg and his brother, and they're both
and graham
crazy.
crackers
And
too.
the graham
That's
crackers. You
also
can't.
like part of it.
Everything is to fight masturbation.
It has to be bland.
Yes, the bland food. You know who has the blandest foods?
White people.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Which is so ironic because they
Yeah.
went to Asia for the spices and then they didn't even fucking use
And then
them.
don't fucking use them.
Like, what the fuck? You literally colonized a whole area for this shit.
So,
And you're gonna say
Kar
it's too spicy?
Karina, can I add like a
Dumb.
layer of complication to like all of what you've been saying about like these people that are like, this is how it is, and like, I studied
Yes,
all these
Greg.
people. So
I love
this is
it.
also the era when like doctors became like the medical profession that are today, where we're like,
Mm.
oh, these people are really smart and stuff. They actually were like lower class and like medicine wasn't really taught in universities for a long time. And it's only like in the 1800s that like they professionalize and start really pushing through like board like groups like American medical organizations and stuff like pushing this idea that like we know this because science and cut out like midwives and women and like folk knowledge that had been there for millennia, right? There's actually a really good book. I can't remember the title on it that I read about that in grad school.
I love that you said that, Greg, because as a person who's been doing okay, so I've been doing these episodes, and there's one I can't remember because I did drink that whole cosmopolitan thing, but there's a book I read that was like, at a certain point, they have taken our like own knowing of ourselves away from ourselves, and they've like exported, I don't know, exported like your own knowing and like ignored all of the knowledge that you had and that women had from helping deliver babies for hundreds of years to be like, we know best. And I think that like as a person who's done a lot of research, it's really validating to hear you say that. When I've read countless times, like it's just a lot of these white men that are like, I'm a doctor now.
Yeah.
I got a diploma.
Well, that's
So
just it though, right? Like doctor before, like for hundreds since like the medieval period in like Western European culture, right? Like that's just the caveat here. Like since the medieval period, a doctor was someone who had been through all these levels of university training, which was like very broad. It was like math, science,
right,
philosophy,
it
like
didn't
all this
have to
stuff.
be like necessarily
Specialized.
healthcare. Yeah, it's just
No,
you
no,
know
no, no.
stuff.
So that literally comes about in the 1800s, and that's like replaced our whole idea of like, like my joke earlier about like, help, help, we need a doctor. You assume medical doctor, not someone in like an academic specialty.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, Karina. I do think we should have a whole, every time we do one of these episodes, we're always like, another episode idea. But all
I know I have notes all over my desks. There's so many ideas. But if you have any, you need to send them to us. We need all the ideas we can get.
Because like indigenous medical history, like that's outside of like the folk medicine and which, herbal medicines, like they have their own thing and like they're really helpful and a lot of studies show a lot of different things that I can get into at that point. But all I was gonna say is one of the things that I find most interesting when I think about it, midwives and their removal from medicinal practice is really around C-sections. And C-sections were being performed by midwives in Africa for centuries before they were ever brought over to Europe and America, or at least a full century before they were brought over. That was all done through midwives. It was on the back of midwives that we even have this advanced medicine to do things for women's health. And it's absolutely crazy that they got cut out. Like, I hear what you're saying, Greg, and I know that they did it and I know why they did it. It's just crazy, though, to cut out the people whose backs you built your work on.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like the period that I study, like colonial New England, like literally when someone's giving birth, they push like the men, it's like, get the fuck out. Like this isn't your space, and it's
Hmm.
women that attend to
Hmm.
women. Like
Hmm.
men don't start show really like
Yes.
being present for births until the 1800s.
Anyway, another soapbox for another day, but it's crazy to me that they got taken out of the mix.
Yeah. And when they had so much experience, so much knowledge, like, and so much respect that they deserved for what they got. But John Kellogg, a man who just had a lot to say and a lot of cornflakes to make, had his own thoughts on the dangers of the pull-out method. He threw out the theory that the fruits of these incomplete procreations, maybe the infants that were more feeble, sickly, or even monsters, an actual medical term for children with birth defects. Because that is what science was. They were like, what's the crudest way we could refer to someone? Call them that and then use it as as the medical term. Like they did that forever. Anyway, what were the other options if you're like, okay, I'm still gonna have sex and also the pull-out method does not work? What are the options? I think it's only like 70% safe. What, anywho, yes, Britt.
I was gonna say that sounds about right. Um, let's see.
I think
Oh,
that's what DIY says. But what does phrenologist Orson Squire Fowler say about preventing conception?
What does phrenologist, what is his name? Orson Scott?
Orson Squire Fowler.
Oh, Orson Squire Fowler. My apologies. What does
Yes,
he think? I'm dying to know.
I knew you were wondering. Preventing conception outrages every sexual law. Prepare to meet your God, ye who persist. Every argument is futile. Right bearing never exhausts but always improves mothers. So if you have a bunch of children, it's good for the mom. And large families are the best pieces of property in existence. So,
Can I request if we were in Hawaiian culture and I got to name my genitalia, it would be Ye Who Persists. I
I
love that.
love
I
that.
fucking love it.
that was phenomenal, Randy. I love it. Okay. Wow. I feel like that's an accurate name for you. I don't know about your genitalia personally, but like you as a person, that feels right.
Well, speaking for both of us, I like it. It fits.
But what did our friends BJ Jeffers and JL Nichols, who wrote Searchlights on Health, Light on Dark Corners, say about this? Them as long these two men, along with other medical experts, which we've discussed at length what an expert could mean at this time. It's just a white man. A white man with a typewriter.
Oh, what's new?
Oh my God, it's a podcast, bro. It's a podcast, bro. It's just a
It is
podcast,
podcast, bro.
bro.
Are you seeing
Anywho,
yourself?
no, I'm seeing that nothing ever changes, Randy. Back then it was a man with a typewriter. Today it's a guy with a microphone. What will it be tomorrow? You know what I mean? Like it's just a different type of technology.
Hmm.
Anywho, along with other medical experts, um, they would offer timetables of when women could be most fertile, least fertile, or even temporarily sterile. And I have not seen these timetables, so I don't know how accurate they are, but I have looked into cycle tracking. So if you are able to track your cycles and be consistent about it, and if you have like a consistent enough cycle to track, you can see the days when you are the most fertile. But I don't know how accurate and up to date that these methods were because like I'm skeptical. Anywho, Dr. James Ashton, author of The Book of Nature, recommended his own methods for married couples trying to limit family size. One is sponge and spermicide. Dr. Ashton basically sends you to the drugstore, like he gives you a how-to. Like they would put these in different catalogs and be like, I'm a doctor and I'm an expert. I'm telling you how to do this to protect yourself.
Hmm.
And so you go to the drugstore, you buy a fine sponge, and then you get some silk and you make a little sponge tampon. And he had a bunch of recipes on how to make different spermicides, and you soak it in there and you put it in there. And then after you're done doing what you're doing, you just take the little spermicide sponge out, and that's it. He had a whole recipe book. Most of them didn't work. All the recipes were for different spermicides to kill the sperm, so like you could do it would kill it. This was not like a novel idea. It wasn't like he was the only one thinking like, let how do we kill them before they can get anyone pregnant? In 1897, there was a doctor who even made vaginal suppositories that were to destroy spermatozoa. They were like Lysol for like in there because they were like, if we make it inhabitable, nobody can live.
Yeah, including the vagina. That does
Yeah.
not sound good.
No, and that is your warning right now. If you own one, don't put random things in there. Don't. No, that's not safe. Water, that's it. Speaking of which, that's another quote unquote birth control method. You can just wash everything out. It doesn't work, but that's an option. Another birth control method, some men would tie up the scrotum, just tie up to like prevent the sperm from going anywhere and hope to avoid impregnating, quote, the female. But this method is exceedingly hurtful. So people were doing this to prevent it. But also during this time, condoms were transitioning from animal skin sheaths to rubber, man-made, and super thick. It was a very unpopular method of contraception, and they often broke. Dr. F. F. Jackson writes to the Medical World in volume 15 in 1897 of a device called the hood or French pisser. It was a cervical cap, an aluminum button that was placed at the uterus. So it's like this is the lid. Like if my palm is the lid, it's like this. And you just like put it in there.
This is like a diaphragm.
Kind of like a diaphragm IUD mix. How do you get the button? How do you get this button, guys? You have to send for it in the mail. And then you get
You
the
said
button.
you said like an IUD mix.
It's like a very early IUD. They were like, you put it in the uterus, and so I'm assuming to say you put it in the cervix, and it just
Like, oh
like a
God.
little cap.
Are
So
these
yeah,
Victorians in England that you're talking about?
um,
Because
these
wouldn't Comstock's Act have kept that
this
from
is
being male?
this is before Comstock's Act.
Oh, thank you for
This
the
is
clarity.
right before, and
I'm
I
like
and
literally
I
scratching my
didn't
head.
I didn't add it in here, but this is like before. That's why it was like, yes, you could do it through the. That's why I even mention it. Yes, you could do it through the mail,
Hmm.
but then Comstock's Act comes into play,
He was like, no.
and you can't get birth control in the mail. You can't even talk about sex in the mail. And those are episodes that we will talk about later this month, which is phenomenal way of wrapping it all together, Randy.
I just was curious
Yeah.
where that played
No,
in.
literally in the book it talks about all of this, and then right after it talks about Comstock and his law.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, not to side with Comstock, but I don't know. These don't sound really reputable so far, these options.
You're not
We
put it
might
looks
have
like a
been
freaking tack, Randy. It looks like
we
a
might
tack
have
with
been
little
saving lives
hooks.
unknowingly.
It looks like a
Oh.
tack
I know,
with
Britt, not what I wanted to say.
I know you
Uh,
don't want to
oh, I
side
get
with
the tack
Comstock.
part.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
And
it's
meanwhile, I'm
horrible.
like agreeing with the man.
No, I agree to honestly to I think there is an extent of like yes, knowledge is necessary, but like if we can prevent harm, we should.
hmm hmm
Anyway, yeah, that's what I got about the Victorians. They were kind of crazy
Sure.
guys. This book is there's so much in there, and it there's so much history. There's so many things that I've learned that I'm like, will I ever recover? You know?
No.
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 But we've got some really great episodes coming up for everyone.
This is for your benefit, guys.
It's for you. Um, but Britt, what is your last group of facts?
Yes, so this one is a little bit more of a story. So you said the Victorian era, what time range was that again?
Hmm. I'm scrolling. Hold on.
You're good. My cat's being cute, so it's
18,
okay.
it's 1820 and through 1914.
Okay, so
Wait,
not too.
it's 100 years?
It's approximate to her
Broadly,
to the
yeah.
time like around where she ruled.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
it's like approximate. It's just like a but it's not necessarily like she was alive that whole time, but that's considered her period though.
Okay. Cool, cool.
So, not too far past the Victorian era, we have what everyone probably remembers learning about World War II. So, amongst all sorts of war fronts that the US Army and Navy were trying to fight, another one that we don't talk about very often, they are commonly referred to as the enemy in your pants. During World War II, they had a significant issue of sexually transmitted infections amongst soldiers. Roughly out of every 1,000, 43 soldiers would have gonorrhea, syphilis, or neurosyphilis, a specific form of syphilis that attacks the brain and spinal cord. Up until the creation and widespread use of penicillin, the war effort tried to combat this by educating soldiers about pamphlets, prophylactics, and posters with different slogans such as sex exposure without prophylaxis is proaxis. You can't beat
Oh,
the
I love that.
axis.
I love that line. That's a
I know,
great
right?
that's a great little use of.
Great little pun there. You can't beat the Axis if you get VD. And one famous poster with a soldier leaving saying, taking VD home too, sailor. So,
I like that.
thankfully,
You're taking it home too?
truly. There
Mm.
was also several different ones that I saw that very much demonized what's it called, sex workers at the time period, including men who know say no to prostitutes who are spreaders of syphilis and gonorrhea, and self-control is self-preservation. Pick up spread syphilis and gonorrhea. They were pretty intense about it. There's also several ones that I saw that had to do with elephants that I was like, I feel like these are better seen than just shared verbally. But um, thankfully, penicillin has helped tame the issue a little bit.
That was a lot, Britt. That was a lot.
Oh,
I was like,
um,
it's because the condoms weren't good.
Wait, what did
yes.
the elephants have to do with it?
It seems I was looking through some of the different posters. It seems they commonly used it as like a what's it called? Don't forget or don't be forgetful because elephants have very long memories.
Oh,
Okay.
so
So
it's like the elephant never forgets.
yeah, so it's like an elephant never forgets to go by the pro office is what they would refer to it, or as prophylactics. There's also one they had about thick-skinned elephants, and I was like, I don't know where this is going, but I'm just gonna move on. So there's, if you look it up, there's an archive where they have several different of these, like 100 and something of these different slogans and posters saved,
Yes,
and different
you know what is
pamphlets.
funny is in one of the past episodes I talk about that too.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of World War II propaganda conversations that we've had on this podcast are quite. I mean, off the top of my head, this is at least the third one that I know that we've had. That I
I
know
mean, it
for a
always
fact
comes up. It's
that
one of
we've
those
had.
topics. It just comes up.
There. So let's talk about. I think that's pretty much it for me. I have a couple of other like short ones if y'all are interested, but I'm also not too worried about it. So,
I'm okay either way. I'm like, whichever. No, it's
um,
8:30 or whatever. Greg,
yes.
go.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wait a minute, it's late. Greg, go.
Okay. Yeah. I'll try to tell mine in a quick way, but also interesting. So my notes are from a book by Sean Wilentz and Paul Johnson called The Kingdom of Matthias. And I can't remember what the tagline is, but it's like I think it's like a story of sex and salvation in early America or something, or the early Republic. So basically, so I'm going to tell you all a story about a sex cult because I think that's interesting and it fits with sexy history. And this story takes place in the 1830s primarily in New York, so in Randy's territory, in a community called Sing Sing, which is
Am I gonna enjoy that fact, Greg?
I don't
Am
know. So I think I was looking it up, and the modern day town is like Ossining. I may be saying that wrong, but it's like a town that's like up on the Hudson River, like above Manhattan, right? So like north of Manhattan, basically, on the river. And it involves this guy named Robert Matthews, who was also, you also might know him as Robert Matthias, Jesus Matthias, Matthias the prophet Matthias, or Joshua the Jewish minister. So this guy went by a variety of names. Or
My
if you
favorite
were
is Joshua, the Jewish minister. Like,
or if you
it's
were
just
quoting a
Joshua.
newspaper from the time, he would be Matthews the imposter. So, so a little bit about Robert Matthews. He was born in Cambridge, New York in 1788 and grew up in a Presbyterian family. So mainstream Christian, like that kind of thing. And as an adult, he became a carpenter, which is interesting with the whole Jesus is a carpenter thing, and moved around New York, but never managed to sort of like get a business off the ground. So he did what most people do when they fail in life. He became a religious grifter, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so like he became interested in this. There was this famous Jewish guy at the time named Mordecai Noah who was building like a utopian community in New York because he was like, this is going to be the new Israel and bring about the apocalypse and stuff. Like basically, I'm going to create like a new Jerusalem in America and all of that. And so he left Presbyterianism and then dabbled with Methodism and a little bit of Judaism because he was really interested in Mordecai Noah and took on this whole like um persona as this like Jewish prophet basically. Like he was a reincarnated prophet from the Bible days. And that was kind of like the persona that he developed and like sold himself on. And he actually tried to join Mordecai Noah in his community, but was never able to. Like, Noah was like, no, I don't, like, you're clearly not, like, you're crazy and this is not what I'm about. And so he wasn't ever able to join Noah, even though he believed it was his destiny to like help him and like bring about the end of the world. Because this is also the Second Great Awakening at this time. So there's this huge like emotional movement in religious history where, people believe that like the end is near and we all have to like be saved, otherwise we're going to be judged and sent to hell and stuff like that. So around 1830, he was living in Albany and he's married at the time, and he has this like prophetic vision that there would be this great flood like in the Bible and like wipe out Albany. So he fled the city and was trying to convince his wife and some of his kids to go with him. And his wife refuses to do that because like at this point she's like, you're going insane. You're absolutely crazy. And so he ran off with three of his kids and left her, and was eventually like found and institutionalized in the almshouse, or like the poorhouse in Albany for a couple of weeks. And his wife tried to divorce him at that time, but she couldn't because New York law required you to have proof of adultery. And so, doesn't matter if your husband's crazy, right?
Wait, Greg, how do you have
Yeah.
proof of adultery as in colonial times? Does it have to be a letter saying like we have been
Two or
fucking?
more witnesses. That's like the
Of
standard.
what?
Like say you walked in on like the person having sex with somebody. Like you
And I
caught them in
brought
the
my
act.
friends to
You
catch
have
you
you
guys?
have to catch him in the act, right? But there would have to be like a certain like let's say two people saw like a guy running away from someone's house, right? That would be proof.
Mm.
Like that would hold up in a court of law, like two witnesses. I saw him leave the house, and then, you know, her
What
husband came home and, you know,
I'm hearing that you need good friends. That's what I'm hearing. You
yeah.
gotta.
I know I have great friends in this situation. I'm just saying if you had to pick sides, you guys are legally required. It's my side. That's the
Her
relationship we have.
That's fair.
I mean, I like Evan, but he doesn't talk to me.
He doesn't talk to anybody.
I know. It's nothing against him. I'm not taking it personally.
But
I just
also,
need an extrovert.
Greg, this story you're right. No, it has been
Oh,
kind of
no, no,
like,
it keeps going too. And this is like Cliff Notes, right? Like the book is really interesting. I've taught it
what was
in
the book called again? Just
it's
for,
called The Kingdom of Matthias.
that's such a fun name.
It's a good
The
name.
Kingdom.
Yeah. Well, so that's what they called the community that he ends up forming is Mount Zion, or the kingdom. So,
So wait, 100%. They picked the most obvious cult name and went with it.
yeah, well, I mean, obviously Jewish mystic cult kind of thing, like that sells, you know.
That's what the people want. Okay, go on.
They
Sorry.
do. So anyways, he's let out after 2 weeks because, and his wife isn't able to divorce him, and so he moves around, and by the next year he was in Rochester and calling himself the Prophet Matthias, but couldn't build a following. And so his wife like kicked him out basically when he came back to Albany, and was like, if you're not going to work, like you need to go somewhere else. So he went down to Washington, D.C., and tried to sort of start his cult, and then moved back to New York City and was preaching on the streets. And that's where he met this guy named Elijah Pearson, who was like, Pearson was a middle class Victorian, respectable religious reformer who had already been like doing a lot of work to like help poor children and try to reform prostitutes and get them out of that lifestyle, because obviously it's not a good reputation, good business to be in for a Victorian person in the 1830s.
Unmarried, Greg? Unmarried?
Yeah.
When I
So,
was watching Bridgerton, or not Bridgerton, what's that one show? The Before Bridgerton, Downton Abbey. I was
oh yeah,
watching that show way too much, and I saw a girl in a truck with her boyfriend's arm wrapped around her, and I was like,
I like the scandal.
she's never going to make a respectable marriage. That was my first thought. I was like, never. And that's when I knew I needed to stop watching that show. Like it was too much. It was too much, Randy. I'm just saying. Okay,
I
sorry,
like
Greg.
Downton Abbey.
I love that show. It's so good. I haven't
But
watched
it's
the
also a
movies.
very Victorian
Oh, yes.
show.
It's
Like
very like,
classes is a
Yeah.
big
oh,
part of
yes.
it.
Yeah. I can't
Very
say I
downstairs,
ever had
upstairs.
that situation though, Karina. I didn't ever have a thought like that cross my mind
I
after
I was
watching it.
like, who am I? I really was like, excuse me? Anyway, so yeah. I don't know how that got there. Sorry, Greg.
No, you're good. You're
I
good.
could also start a cult apparently, because goddamn, I
No,
feel
well, I
like I
mean,
have
it
too
really
many
doesn't
similar
seem that hard,
qualities.
right? So this guy
It
It just
Elijah,
doesn't
takes
seem
us.
that hard,
It
no, no,
just
Randy.
no,
takes
right?
us. I talked about starting a religion our last recording. I still stand by that. I would love to
I
enter
have been
into a
told I could
fellowship with
be
you three.
I have been told I could be a cult leader, so I'm willing to try if I could have followers.
You know what?
Okay.
You know what that makes me though? That makes me the right hand. I'm not the shit covering shit up. I'm the one arranging your meetings.
No, oh, Randy, I was about to say, no, that's not true. And then I
It
remembered
is
earlier, do
true.
you want me to make a list? I need it.
It is 100% true. That is what I'd be doing. Logistics. Anyone need a COO? Here I am.
Yeah. Experience with cults, you know.
Or if you want to pay me to pay Randy to be the CEO, COO, one of the C's and
I
one of the
told you,
O's.
I don't have the charisma to be a cult leader. I also don't have the patience for it, I don't think. I
I
think
really
some
feel like
people
I
would
could do
exhaust
it, which
me.
worries me. It worries me, Randy. I I feel like I could thrive.
Like I love an
Okay.
adoring following. Like this fuels me.
No, I feel like
There,
if it was too much following, I would be over it. Like I'd be pissed. I'd be like, "Can you leave me alone?"
Well, you got a cold
see,
hurt, you know.
I, I feel like there's two types of cult leader you can be. You can be the cult leader where you buy into what you're peddling to people, and you can be the cult leader where you're like, I really don't give a shit, but I want something out of this, be it power or money or all the women in the world, whatever. I'm from Waco, so look into the French Davidians. Um, but what type do you think you would be, Karina?
I
Sorry,
think
slight
the
tangent.
first.
Just
I feel like
curious.
I'm not the type to not follow my like if I'm gonna tell you to take the medicine, I will also be taking the medicine. You know what I mean? Like
You're
I am I drank the punch first.
So you're not Jim
yes.
Jones, right?
I'm fully invested, but I also am of the mindset of like I don't care what you do, just don't hurt me or other people or yourself. And that's how I live my life.
Well, lucky for you, there's a whole show called How to Become a Cult Leader on Netflix. So you can go brush up on your skills and then practice on us, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, well
Randy,
let's hear about this one guy that Greg's talking about
Britt,
again.
like you're not 100% behind this too. I want to see what happens.
Okay,
We're gonna
okay.
go
honestly,
take notes.
we get
All right.
popcorn.
Are y'all ready?
Yes.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
Greg.
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
no,
you're good. You're good.
no.
I was like, that's my cue. Like
I'm
I'm ready to go.
redirecting.
I was
Yeah,
back
yeah.
on Colts.
Yes,
Um,
we're back on Greg's cult.
well, so for Matthews, like meeting Pearson was good because he already was leading this independent church, even though he wasn't a minister, and he had about 50 or 60 people following him. And so, like Matthias or Matthews convinces Pearson that he's legit. So Pearson's like, obviously, I'll be your right hand person, and you can just start preaching to these people. And so he takes over this church and begins, you know, promoting whatever it is that he's promoting at this time. And they also convinced another fairly wealthy merchant named Sylvester Mills to join their group. And so, like, these two people gave Matthias a bunch of money. They bought him like nice clothes and like fitted him out to look more like a prophet and like provided him with resources, right?
So they were his sponsors, Greg?
Yeah, pretty much. They were like the guys backing this. And so when he would go in public, he would wear this crazy coat, like this crazy outfit with like basically kind of like a pope hat, like that was described as an inverted cone. He would wear a military jacket that had all sorts of like silk and braids and like fancy buttons and ruffles. Like he would just dress very extravagantly and carry a sword and a rod, right? Because he's kind of like the god, sort of like, it's, you know, symbolism and stuff like that. And so people who were friends with Sylvester Mills were like, you guys are crazy, and this guy is a fraud, and he's taking all of your money, as rational people should respond. And so they arranged to have Matthews arrested and to shave his beard. So he'd been growing his beard out because to fit the Jewish prophet sort of vibe, you can't shave or anything. So he has this like long beard at this point, and stuck him back in an asylum. But for whatever reason, the people running the asylum let Matthews go because they were like, he's not that crazy, but they kept Mills. So he's released and is able to go and do whatever. And so, along with Elijah Pearson, he had two friends. Pearson had two friends, Benjamin and Ann Folger, who lived in Sing Sing, like up the river, up the Hudson River, away from where Matthews was already. So they convinced them that he was a legit prophet as well. So they joined the cult. And, obviously Christianity's evil, and Matthews has the one true religion. And so they moved into the Folgers' home in Sing Sing, which they renamed Mount Zion, or they also called the Kingdom, and along with Matthews, and then he also had a servant named Isabella Van Wagenen. Um, and so there he set up the actual cult. So he ruled as like the head patriarch and gave his followers chores and tasks to do and established his control over these people. And that's where things start to get weird and sexual. So Matthews had an affair with Anne Folger, Benjamin's wife. And we're not like some like sources say that she like realized that this is the guy in power. I want to be close to power and like seduced him. Other sources say it's the other way around, right? But he claimed that the two of them were match spirits, whatever that means, right? That they have like a soul marriage and that she would
Okay,
have a child.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Greg, but that sounds
Yeah,
like some straight up twin flame bullshit.
right.
That seems so suspicious.
Or
I'm
spirit
so
married,
suspicious. Yeah,
right?
sus.
But then also he's like, you're gonna have my baby and it's gonna be the Messiah.
I mean, if she wants that, that sounds like a lot of work.
It does.
Yeah, how is raising Messiah baby different than regular baby? Give me the pros and cons. No, like, it's weird. I don't like it.
And
There's
like, are
always a
you
Messiah baby.
responsible? Like, if it's Messiah baby, are you responsible for Messiah baby? Because like, is it just a good baby? Like, sorry. No, I'm gonna go on a whole different tangent. Keep going, Greg.
Yeah, no, no, exactly, right? Like we'll bypass the Messiah thing. So obviously Anne was previously married to Benjamin Folger, who's not happy about the whole like you're sleeping with the cult leader thing, right? And he's like, I don't know about this whole like I know I agreed to follow this guy, but I don't know about the whole like match spirit thing. So like he
Yeah,
was
also, was he
upset.
supposed to be cool with the guy just fucking his wife?
Well, I guess he was, right? But he wasn't. And so Matthews is like, I got a job for you, right?
Hmm.
So he's
Convenient.
like, I'm gonna send you to Albany to get my kids from my wife, who like he's still married to her technically, right? Um, and so he sends Benjamin and is like, all right, go pick up my kids. So Folger goes and picks up his kids, and then on the way back, sleeps with Matthews's oldest daughter, also named Isabella, like his servant. And this
Damn.
Oh, I really thought you were gonna say the wife, Greg.
Yeah,
no, no,
so
no.
you
So it's his daughter. So he's like, all right, you're gonna fuck my wife? I'm gonna fuck your daughter.
dang. He was like one step of escalation. We're going.
Yeah, right. He's like, all right, let's go.
I don't know what's worse, your mother or your daughter. Which one would you be more appalled by?
My daughter. What my
Really? I
mom
think
does
my
is
Daughter.
her
mother.
business. What
I
she
think
does is
my
her.
I
Like, if
think
my
I would
mom
have
is
been more appalled by
consenting
my
to all
mother.
of this, I don't care.
See, I think I would feel that way about my daughter, given if she was old enough. I'd be like, ugh, she's so young, you took advantage. If it was
No.
my mother, I'd be like, that bitch knew.
Yeah, no, no. So the mother actually let the kids go with him because like he sent money and sort of like convinced her that he had turned things around and was not crazy. And so she's like, "All right, I'll send my kids with this person."
To be fair, Greg, my comparison was not for their mother, but Matthias's mother.
Oh,
But
Matthias's mother. I don't know what's happened to her at this point.
it's okay. I was just making the either or in my head.
Yeah,
Continue.
I like the either or though. So, but this is going to become a problem though, because Matthews's daughter Isabella was already married. Like, so she was married, and then like agrees to go with her father, and then sleeps with Folger on the way, right? So it's already gotten like really messy, you know. Um, and so when they returned to Sing Sing, Matthews eventually found out and is mad. And so he whips his daughter very severely, but then is like, okay, y'all also have a spirit union or whatever, the match spirit. So he's like, okay, you can marry Folger, right? And so he's like, this is going to fix the problem, right? I'll be with Benjamin's wife and you can be with my daughter and everything's good. And
Yeah,
so
I don't love
Isabella's
that.
real husband, like, begins to search for her because she's gone off and gone to another community and disappeared and everything, and tracks her down and demands her return. So he's not able to get like they kind of find a way to like force him out at this point and send him away. Like she won't go back with him basically. So eventually, Benjamin was still pissed off at Matthews about everything and him ordering everybody around. And so he ordered him to leave his house and give his wife back, which Matthews obviously refused. He's like, no way, I'm not going to do that. And this is where it all starts to kind of unravel. So around that time, Elijah Pearson started having health issues and mysteriously dies. Like, it kind of looks like maybe he was poisoned. We don't know it's murky. He starts to get more and more like have more and more health problems and eventually dies. And so then Benjamin Folger is able to get Matthews arrested and jailed for potential murder and for getting money under false pretenses. And he also accuses Matthews's servant, Isabella, same name as his daughter, of being involved in this plot. So in 1835, the two of them stand trial for murder. And they were acquitted because there was a lack of evidence. There's no definitive proof that they had a hand in Pearson's murder. And so this is where all these details come out because newspapers are reporting this and it becomes a scandal in the early United States in the 1830s, right? For Victorians who are like, we're trying to prevent, having children and sex is only for procreation and stuff like that. This is super scandalous. And so they did find Matthews guilty of beating his daughter because no one disputed that. And so he spent 3 months in jail for that, plus an additional 30 days for contempt of court.
Oh, what did he do? Do you know?
Oh, just like being difficult with the whole thing and trying to pull the religious angle and stuff. So they were like, okay, look, you weren't
Basically,
you
he was annoying.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean like you defied the court enough and you gave us a bunch of bullshit, so
And we
4
don't
months in
like you
jail.
anyway. So here's 30 more days.
Yeah.
I love it.
So So a lot
I
of
mean,
these
not really.
people, like most of these people in this story kind of disappear eventually. Like the Folgers fall off the map in like the 1850s. That's like the last record we have. And like this happens with people. Like sometimes they show up in the historical records and then they just disappear and we don't know what happened to them, right? And so the same kind of thing happens with Matthews. Like once he's released, like we have a little info on what happens to him and that's really interesting. And then he kind of disappears. So we know that he went to Ohio after he got out of jail. And there he met Joseph Smith,
Uh,
the founder of the Mormons,
yeah. Random cameo.
right? So we actually have documentation from Mormon records because he approached Joseph Smith and called himself Joshua the Jewish minister. And so the two of them like sat down and met and talked about religion. And these are, I don't know, I would just say two cult leaders
Yes.
starting,
Yeah.
sitting down at the
Yes.
table, right? And so,
Yes.
so they're
One
talking about
hundo.
all sorts of things. They're talking about the resurrection and reincarnation. And Matthews tells uh, Joseph Smith that he was both God and the reincarnated apostle Matthias. That's where the name Matthias comes from. So he's the apostle who replaces Judas in church history after Judas dies, right? Because he betrays Jesus, and then depending on which version, there's three versions of how he dies. Pick whichever one you want. Um, but after he dies. So he's like, I am both God and the prophet Matthias or the apostle Matthias. Um, and obviously Joseph Smith is like, there could only be one cult leader between the two of us. So he kind of kicks Matthews out, and both of them denounce each other as satanic. So they're both like, "You're a false prophet.
Oh
You're
my
the
God, I
devil."
love it so much. Cult leaders beefing. This is the twist I didn't know I needed, Greg.
I did not
Right?
expect this to come. No.
No, 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 I know. That's why it's such a good. I love the book. It's fantastic because you're just like, what the fuck? Like almost every other page as you're reading it. So we don't really know what happened to Matthews after that. He kind of disappears a little bit. There are rumors that he died in the Iowa Territory in 1841. There was another rumor that he was living outside of Nauvoo, like one of the Mormon communities, and like
Mhm.
that's just where he disappears. There was also another one tying this back further that he was chased out of Little Rock by a lynch mob, and the trail goes cold after that. So there's potential that he made it all the way down to here, where I am in Arkansas,
Very wild.
right?
It comes
But we
full
do.
circle for all of us.
But and this is where like I think that this is just phenomenal writing in terms of books. This is kind of the mic drop at the end. They're like, we do know a little bit about his servant Isabella, surprisingly, who was involved in this and stood trial for murder. She went on to take the name Sojourner Truth and became an abolitionist.
No.
Yes.
No, Greg.
Yes. That's how they end the fucking book.
Dang.
Wait, this is actually true? This cult
Yes.
leader's life is crazy. Why is this
This
not
is
a
this is
movie
totally
yet?
true.
Why is this not a movie yet? Seriously, though.
It's fantastic. I love
It's
it.
too much for the American public,
It is too
Randy.
much for the Victorian
They
sensibilities,
can't
you
handle
know.
Well,
this.
I'm also wondering how many people would recognize those names off the top of their head. But
No, but if you know Sojourner Truth, you're like,
Yes.
what the
yes,
fuck?
I know
Yeah.
them both. I'm really kind of shocked right now.
Yeah.
Me too.
You got me again, Greg.
There were audible gasps. I heard them from here. Yeah.
Which, like, if that's how you end your book, I feel like the next page should be like, be on the lookout for my next novel coming out. Where we
I
pick
mean,
up where we left
absolutely.
off.
Yeah, if you're not giving me where to look for the answers I'm looking for, what the fuck are you doing? That's just
So,
that's just
so Paul
abusive.
Johnson actually has another really good book about the first ever like American celebrity who was just like an entertainment celebrity. this guy named Sam Patch who jumped waterfalls.
Oh yeah.
And it's also fantastic.
Yeah.
You gotta jump a waterfall when it's available, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it, Randy.
But
Don't
like
look at
you're
me like
doing
Yeah,
like
that.
no, thank
Daredevil
you.
kind of stuff, right? It's like Evil Knievel or something.
I must stay on solid ground, guys.
I
Wow.
gotta think about falling. It's not about the heights, it's about the
About how you
dying.
land.
The
Yeah.
dying?
It's the dying.
I'm
It's the dying.
not trying to die today.
I'm specific about it because like I'm totally fine on like if there's a barrier. Do you know what I mean? Like if there's a barrier, I can be as close to that edge if I feel secure.
That's
But
fair.
Part of that is the Call of the Void. Have y'all heard of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt that underwater.
what is that? The Call of the Void? Is this like when the universe screams at us?
No, it's this impulse when you get close to the edge of a really high height to like throw yourself off. So I this is weird. Got it really bad one time watching Fellowship of the Ring whenever Gandalf is stuck on top of Saruman's tower, and I was like, I need to
Oh
stop.
yeah.
And then I had to come back to it later. I was like, I am too anxious right now because I'm thinking about what I would do if I was up there. So,
I
but
mean, yeah. Sometimes I'll get the same feeling as if I were the one about to fall when I'm like watching people falling or something. I can't. It's hard. I
So I
don't
had
know
that
that I
scuba
want to
diving.
do it. Scuba diving?
Yeah, I
interesting.
did a dive in Grand Cayman where like we ended up like going through these volcanic tubes and it shoots you out on the wall, like which is part of the continental shelf, you know? So it's like it's really cool because there's a lot of like deep fish and reef life and stuff that you can only see when you go down about 100 feet. But like the wall drops off, like 2,000 or 3,000 feet, just straight down. And so like everything you see like looking down, it just becomes this black void, and you're just like, you know, if you just like let go, you would just drift down indefinitely.
And you
Wild.
wanted to drift down, Greg?
No, I didn't want it. I was just like, this feels very surreal. And I was like, oh, I get what people mean with the whole like call of the void thing. We're just like, I could just like let all the air out and just, you just slowly sink
Oh
down,
yeah. Yeah.
I feel
If
like we've
that's
all
The
had
what it's
that.
impulse
like,
to
I've
give
done that.
in.
Yeah, where you're just like, I could
Yeah.
Yeah.
just a
Just a
little.
little.
Doop.
It's like the
Yeah.
Chipotle CEO. You're like, you know,
Wait, wasn't that on Shrinking? The Boop? Did any of you watch Shrinking on
I
Apple?
didn't. I watched a couple episodes, but I didn't
Okay.
like really get into it.
Never mind. Forget I said anything at all.
Uh, well, does anyone have any other stories before we go? Anybody? I don't have any. I had to stop myself from researching because this is probably one of my favorite topics and I could go
Mhm.
hard. For years, I could just talk about a lot of this stuff. Oh, Randy. Anyway, but thank you so much, everyone, for being here, especially Britt, our guest for this episode. Thank you so
Yes.
much. We're so grateful to have you.
Thank y'all for having me.
It's been a fun time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I liked
Yes.
all of your facts.
I
Yes, they
have
were interesting.
so many random facts floating around in my head. There were a couple. Okay, this one's off record because I could not find anything to prove this, but there was one that I saw that said, what was it? Women are most likely to consider adultery while ovulating.
Oh,
And I was like,
Hmm.
I could see
that's
it.
interesting.
interesting. It
Yeah,
like hormonally, that would make sense.
yeah. Especially because like that's I mean when you're fertile, so it's like it makes sense that that might be more the biological impulse of like, hey, my
I
body is
need
created for
this.
this.
I
Yeah.
I found another pirate fact while I was researching.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right, Randy, what was the combo?
So I found this out because first because it was like revealed as a myth. Apparently, it's like a myth that I didn't know people believed this, but the Nazis invented sex dolls in World War II, and like it was spread to ruin the Nazi reputation.
I love that.
But this ties to pirates because it ends up that it was centuries before that the pirates had actually invented the sex doll on voyages. They named her, she was like La Dame something, like the woman, the voyage woman or something like that, the long voyage woman. And she was made out of old rags from the ship. Like they would pile them together and put them all together to make the shape of a woman. And then the men would take turns fucking this pile of rags.
You know
The
you're down
men,
bad when.
the men would take turns fucking this pile of rags.
Well, with pirate ships, women were considered bad luck, right?
No,
Yes,
well,
definitely superstition.
yeah. I was like, that's not the area of pirate I studied.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, like there
no.
tends to be more superstition about women on the ships.
Randy, that fact was something. That was something.
I
That was.
told you I was finding ones that Brit I should have been sending to you because I literally was like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I definitely
Please.
think we will do another sexy sips episode because why not? It's so unhinged. Um,
I
All,
love it.
all, yes, I do too. All of you have me on Snapchat. If you ever see like unhinged sex facts, please just send them to me. Like you don't have to preempt or anything. Just send them to me. And I'll be like, oh my
It's
god, this
out
is
of the blue.
amazing. Yes, truly.
I saw this and I thought of you.
Yes, like I love it. It's insane. It makes me so happy. Please do.
mm,
Oh, Karina, thank you for having us. Thank you for having me.
yes, I'm like, I don't know. There's some things I don't know if I want you thinking of me while you see. You know what I mean? Like, there's been a lot of facts today that I've been like, I could have done without you thinking of me while learning about this. Anywho, yeah, so thank you so much for joining us, everyone, our video watchers, our audio listeners, and all our friends who joined us today. If you want to support us in our historical endeavors, research, and all of the subscriptions, because everything just has a subscription these days, um, follow us on wherever. Tell your friends. Our name on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok is sipandsaga_society. And our website is sipandsaga.online. I keep combining them. Anyway, we have merch, we have membership opportunities, and also if you just want to tell us things, we will listen, we will hear you. And also we have book reviews. Randy does them,
Mhm.
and I will do them when I remember to do that.
Guys, I just finished 30 books so far for the year. I'm well on my way.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's
Randy,
awesome.
that's so many books.
Well, I got that challenge from Greg. I'm reading a whole
Are you gonna
person's
try to do
life
50?
worth of books. No, you said that most people after they leave college don't read more than 100 books. So I'm reading a whole person's worth of
I think
books.
it's only 50.
Oh, why?
She's
Well,
reading two
So if you
then.
do 100, you get two people's lifetimes of books.
is
So
it really only
perfect.
50? Well, damn. Well,
That's what they said on NPR.
Also,
Like that
I
was
think
like a
that's
thing that stuck
sad.
with me because they were interviewing some like elementary school kid who had read like some absurd number of books, right? I mean, they're like, third grader
2 pages
books,
long.
right?
Yeah, like what do
Yeah,
they
yeah,
even
yeah.
know about
But
reading?
still, they were like, and this is great because it sets habits, and adults don't read more
Absolutely.
than 50.
I'm looking it up
I
right
can
now because
honestly say I think I
that
read about
seems
at
so
least
low.
50 a year. Like,
But
I
think about
can't
how
even
many people
imagine.
you went to school with who just like fucking hated reading.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's freaking wild. Anywho, if you want a book to read, we have a book club. Um, and this month we're reading Polysecure, and we're meeting May 28th. So if you would like to join us, look at our website, sipandsaga.online, or find us on Instagram. We're all over the place. But for now, we gotta go because it's definitely nap time for some of us, if not all of us even. So, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye. Sorry, I'm still looking this up. Bye.